But with Christine, I honestly can't tell if she is just so dumb that she didn't understand why Drita was upset, or if she was playing dumb. I have not been able to figure out Christine this entire season, and I don't really want to. What's up, everybody? So, I did want to quickly discuss episode 9 of House of Villains that just aired last night on Peacock. An episode that really got on my nerves, I must say. This entire episode, and really the last few episodes, have been getting on my nerves as this show limps to an end, but I have been trying to stick with it because I have a habit of not sticking with shows, well, competition reality shows, when they get really bad. I mean, I just did it with Survivor again because their season 50 sucks. But I'm sticking with House of Villains, especially since there's only one episode left next week, I believe. This episode, though, was kind of all about breaking up the last of the alliance that kind of started this season. First of all, Kate had to break a tie between Tom and Christine, which was our extremely weak cliffhanger from last week, where it was pretty obvious that Kate was going to cut Tom, because that was the whole storyline built over a few episodes that got stale by the last episode. So yes, Kate ended up cutting Tom, and Tom is out of the game. New York, meanwhile, upset by that. New York was emotional after this vote because she felt like Paul didn't tell her where he was voting. Paul was allegedly supposed to do that. New York has been working closely with Tyson and Tom for a while now, and now it's kind of, at least at the beginning of episode 9 here, it was kind of New York and Tyson versus everybody else. And that was kind of the idea for the rest of this episode, is that Drita, Christine, and Kate with Paul are going to we're going to try and win Supervillain and then nominate Tyson and New York for sure. Now, Drita was very emotional in this episode, first of all because she missed her daughter's graduation, which actually is a big deal. So I understand why Drita felt very bad for having to miss that for this show. They did get to video call and all, but still, missing her graduation, that probably sucked. And then after that, immediately was the supervillain competition, where Drita really, really wanted to win because she was already feeling bad that she's doing this show and missing her daughter's graduation. And winning supervillain would make her feel a lot better. I did not like this supervillain competition because it was a comp where Tyson and New York had no chance. It was one of those competitions where all of the players can try and fill up somebody else's thing. And of course, the idea is that Tyson or New York, they want one of them out. So everybody's going to gang up on them. It feels a little too late in the game for a competition like that. And I think all of my issues with these last few episodes kind of are a production issue. Because first we had Kate being able to win back-to-back supervillains, which is a huge advantage in a game like this. And now it's clear that production was trying to get either Tyson or New York out this week because of the way they set up this last competition. So when Tyson was eliminated first, because obviously everyone was going to gang up on him and fill up his bucket first, he did call out production in the confessional, which I was surprised that they actually left that in when Tyson said that the game designers should have just had this competition, whoever fills up their thing the fastest, so it would have been more fair, especially in a round where there's no redemption challenge. Tyson was right. I do find it odd, though, that production left that in. But I guess one good thing about production of this show, which I have said all season, is they do know how to edit an episode, especially where it comes to the game. They do a very good job of editing what's actually happening in the game, who is siding with who, the alliance is going on, the house divide at one point. And I guess keeping in Tyson's confessional kind of also shows us more than most shows would actually show us. So I guess big ups to that. The drama in this competition came when it was down to Drita, Christine, and Paul, where Drita was way ahead of the competition with nobody filling up her cup, and then Christine and Paul decided to even it up and kind of were picking on Drita in the competition, even though the initial game plan was any of them could win Supervillain as long as they're going to target Tyson and New York. But then Drita saw that Christine kept trying to fill her cup instead of filling Paul's because Paul already had his cup pretty filled. Paul was out and it came down to Christine and Drita, but since Christine and Paul were kind of picking on Drita at the end of the competition, Christine ended up winning, and Drita, of course, very upset about that. I mean, I was also upset that Christine won because she has been the worst part of this cast. There is not a redeeming entertainment quality about this Christine person. I've never watched her show, and I don't understand how she even made it on her show because she has not made a lick of sense this entire season. Paul in this episode was doing so much lying. I mean, I guess typical Paul. He has been very much a liar with his vote and then wants to act surprised when people want to call him out on where he's voting or lying about his vote. In this episode, he tried to lie to Tyson that he didn't fill up Tyson's cup first in the competition because Tyson called him out and said if Paul goes after him, he's going to go after Paul. And then after the competition, Paul is trying to lie to Tyson and say he didn't when he clearly did, and Tyson knows he did. So Paul getting called out on a lie here. I am happy that Paul is making it deep into the game, and I believe if next week is the finale, then he is making it to another finale. But it's also very much a Paul type game where he's going to have to win a jury vote, and all of this lying might catch up to him per usual, and people are not going to want to vote for him to win, and it's kind of just another rinse and repeat Paul performance where he gets oh so close to winning and then doesn't get a winning vote. That is still very much a possibility for Paul this season. Afterwards, Drita doesn't even want to talk to Christine after the competition because she feels like Christine was more after her than Paul in the competition. Christine is saying the plan was one of them win and take out Tyson or New York or just nominate both of them. Like, I guess Christine and Paul saw the goal of this comp is one of them win or Kate too, and they for sure nominate Tyson and New York. But Christine and Paul acting like they didn't understand why Drita was upset annoyed me because on one hand it's Paul again playing dumb and lying, which does get old, and it clearly shows me and probably others I would hope watching this why Paul always loses games like this, because unnecessary lies. But with Christine, I honestly can't tell if she is just so dumb that she didn't understand why Drita was upset, or if she was playing dumb. I have not been able to figure out Christine this entire season, and I don't really want to. I think she's been terrible television, and just there is no cohesion to anything she says or thinks. So Drita was clearly upset because, yeah, the plan was one of them win and target Tyson in New York, but Drita was winning, and then she's getting double teamed by Paul and Christine towards the end of the competition. Of course, Drita is going to feel some kind of way if they're supposed to be allies. So they all got into it. Kate stuck up for Drita, which pissed off Christine. Christine thinking that Kate is always stirring drama. But I think Kate was also just seeing the logic behind why Drita was actually upset because Drita was getting tag teamed by allies. I did appreciate that Tyson saw the majority alliance fighting and tried to stir up drama, going to Drita and telling Drita that he agrees with her, that they were trying to take Drita out of the game. And then Tyson went to Christine and tried to get her to not nominate him because he's not going to get a jury vote if he makes the end. So why not take him to the end? I appreciate Tyson being a Survivor player, a classic Survivor player, and, fighting to stay in the game, because it is much different than watching this Christine person who all season, to me, or at least edit wise, has not understood the game. And then in this episode, she started getting HOH-itis, so much so that she ended up nominating Kate in the end against Tyson. So, I mean, at least she did nominate Tyson so she didn't completely piss off her allies, but she did nominate Kate as some sort of like warning or statement or something. I don't really understand why she would nominate Kate if she was just going to nominate Tyson, especially since after that nomination, where they only had a half hour to discuss the vote, Christine went to Kate trying to make a deal to keep her safe next round when she just nominated Kate. So it's once again Christine making no sense, and honestly just annoying me as a viewer for making no sense. On a game level, Christine has been awful to watch on this show. Terrible casting decision. Really does drag down the show. But in the end, Tyson's days were finally out of numbers, and he was voted out of the show after playing pretty damn hard. I will give him that. I was surprised that in the end, even New York voted out Tyson over Kate, and New York finally stating that Kate has never put her up and gone after her. So I guess that Kate and New York connection still somehow lasts in the end. You never know what you're getting with New York in one of these games. There really is usually no strategy behind New York in these games, but I mean, I guess that keeps us all on our toes. I think Kate has to be the front runner to win this game in the end. She's had some good moves, Tyson admitting that he was the one turning up the heat, which he did again in this episode to try and further make Christine and Drita grumpy so they would fight with each other. But when he first did that, it did lead to Kate going outside and finding Ashley's notebook and learning about the big alliance. I still contend that Kate has only done so well because of the unfair advantage of being able to be supervillain 2 weeks in a row. But, I guess I'd be fine with a Kate win. I'm still rooting. I think I'm rooting for Drita to win, to be honest. I think she has been the most logical person this entire game, even though she's had no power the entire game. She hasn't pissed off the jury at all, though. I would be fine with the Paul or New York win, of course, too. But Paul is playing the same kind of Paul game where I feel like he's not gonna win. And New York is honestly also a long shot. Anyone but Christine, though. Christine does not deserve to win this game whatsoever.